Good morning! Let's make a card today. Today we're going to be using the Magnolia Mood stamp set along with the Sweetly Scripted stamp set, the dies to the Magnolia Mood. So they're going to cut out the images we're going to use plus some extras. And we're going to create this beautiful wedding card. So I can't wait to get started. I've already pre-cut some things. And along with that stamp set, we're gonna be featuring Basic Beige, my new favorite color, one of my new favorite colors, and our white. So we're just gonna make a really fun, elegant wedding card. It's wedding season, right? So you could use this for anything, thank yous, or congratulations, all kinds of things. So first we've got our Basic Beige card base that I already have pre-cut for us. So we'll set that aside. We've got some basic white for the inside, some basic white for the outside, and another basic beige layer. So we will get started with some stamping. So we're gonna bring in the craft ink pad. So this is white and it comes uninked. So it doesn't have any ink on it when you first get it, but it comes with the refill. So all you'll do is put your ink on there and let it settle in, kind of smooth it out so that it's even. And there you have your craft ink. So the craft ink is different than our other inks. It's a little bit thicker so that you get that true white color. So what we're gonna do first on our basic beige here is we are going to stamp this image as our kind of subtle background with our white. So we're just gonna ink this up. I always just like to check just to make sure it's got enough ink on there. And then we are just gonna stamp this all around our layer here to create kind of our own designer paper, right? You can also use this ink to do some embossing, all kinds of things. But weddings speak white, right? Okay, so we've got that. We just created our whole background. Now we're gonna let this dry. But just so you can see that a little more up close. Isn't that just so pretty on the basic beige? I love it. Okay, so we're gonna set this to the side. We're gonna let that dry. I'm gonna close up our ink pad here on a piece of basic beige scrap. We're going to use the basic beige ink, so tone on tone stamping here. And we're going to use our big Magnolia image. Love this image. So pretty, right? So we're just going to ink this up. Make sure we got enough on there. And we're just going to stamp this down with our basic beige to create that beautiful image. Okay, so then we would use our die cuts. And I just keep mine on a magnetic sheet so they're easier. But we would use this die cut. We would put this on, we'd run it through our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And magic of TV here, I already did that and die cut that for us today. Okay, so that one's done. And then let's do the inside layer, which is this one here. So we're gonna use our basic beige. Still, we're gonna take this image. margins. We don't want to have an empty inside, right? So we're gonna ink this up with the basic beige. We're gonna kind of stamp it off the paper a little bit to get that fun image. And then we're gonna use from the congratulations from the Sweetly Scripted stamp set. So I love these, all of these words. This is such a great set. Must have, because you can use it for all the things, right? Thank you, get well, happy birthday, this congratulations, and anniversary, which we don't always have lots of choices for that, right? So you'll see this stamp is too big for the paper, right? So that's okay. You can do it a couple of ways. So we're gonna stamp it right on the inside layer today. And then I'll show you what I did on our other card. Just ink that up in our basic beige. Kind of center that on here. And there we have that. So you can stamp it like that. You could also stamp it on a piece of paper, and you'll see here on my example, I stamped it on a paper and I fussy cut all around it and just glued it right on. So lots of options we can do with that stamp. Okay, so I think we are done with our stamping, and now we get to start putting some things together. So back to our base here. We're gonna take this and some liquid glue. We'll adhere our inside piece. Just like so. Kind of center it on there. Give it a little rub. And we're gonna put on our basic white layer, just to kind of make the white that we stamped pop. So just go ahead and put that on. I love the green glue. It gives us that little bits of room to make sure everything is centered, right? Okay, then we're gonna take that layer that we stamped. We're gonna put that right on. Just right on the center here. So see how it just kind of makes the white that we stamped stand out a little bit more. Okay, so we'll let that dry a second. And I already did this, but one of the die cuts in our dies here is this beautiful piece, along with a couple of these others. So these ones here are gonna die cut the images that you stamped, right? Just like this one here, we'll cut that one. But then there's these extra dies. And so one of those extra dies, this one here, is gonna die cut this beautiful, intricate image, right? So I love that. I did that for us before, so we're gonna use that in a minute. But I have a couple tips for you on that. Because it's a real intricate die, a couple of things that I do. So I run it through, it's just on basic white here, ran it through my die cut machine. And then what I like to do is run it back through. So I run it through and run it back through. So that way it gets a little bit deeper if it needs cut, right? And then here's another one that I die cut. What I will do is after I take it off of my die, I will use the brush tip of our Take Your Pick add-on tools, and I'll just kind of go like this right over it. And what that does is it releases all those itsy bitsy pieces. So this plus the little foam are something that you can add on to your Take Your Pick, and it just makes it so easy to get out those little bits that are sometimes hard, right? You can also take the end of your Take Your Pick tool and kind of poke through on the die. That takes some time. So this is much quicker. You do have to be gentle, but the foam is what really helps that to stick, and then you can just toss all that in the trash, right? So love that extra die cutting tip. Okay, so now we're going to start putting our card the rest of the way together. So we're gonna use some ribbon. There is a beautiful basic beige ribbon that you could use with this, but we are gonna use today this new ribbon. It's a striped iridescent trim. So when I first saw this, I'm like, oh, that screams wedding, right? So it's just so pretty. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna open our card. We're gonna lie our ribbon flat, keeping it attached. And then we're just gonna make sure, see, sometimes it gets wonky, right? So we wanna make sure that it is flat on this side. Okay. And then we're going to unwind that a bit. And we're just gonna tie a double knot. And I'm leaving my string here a bit longer on purpose. So we're just gonna tie it in a knot and then tie it in one more knot and make sure that it's tight. So we're just gonna pull that. And then I always double check just to make sure that it did stay flat for the inside of my card, and it did. So then on this side, we're just gonna go ahead and cut this with my ribbon scissors. Put that to the side for a minute. So we're gonna leave that. I have them longer on purpose so that I can figure this part out and then decide how long I want my ribbons. So with this piece, this die cut piece that we did, we're gonna put this kind of at an angle. It's just gonna be a kind of a background for us. And so we're gonna use a couple of Stampin' Dimensionals. So I've got those here. And I'm just gonna put them back on these bigger pieces. You don't have to like totally secure it down. So I've got a couple there. You kind of want it a little bit loose so that it's, you know, kind of flowy. Okay, so then we're gonna kind of make sure our ribbon's flat. We're gonna kind of center this, but at an angle, and push that down. Now we're gonna take our piece that we stamped and die cut, and we're also gonna pop this up. So it's kind of like a double popped up. Wedding cards, I feel like, can be a little bit more, right? So we're just gonna go ahead and put some dimensionals on this. Maybe one more over here. Okay, now we'll peel those backings off. We're almost done here. Okay. And then we'll just center this however you like it. I just kind of line it up like so. And then we'll bring our ribbon scissors back, and this is where now you can trim it, right, to how you want it. Okay. And this one might be a little bit long, so let's do one more. There we go. Okay, so now to kind of give it that wedding bling image, it's already beautiful, but I'm going to show you two fun tricks. So one, this is our Stampin' Spritzer, and so I have filled it halfway with rubbing alcohol because it dries quick, and then the other half I took an entire wink of Stella, opened it up, and dumped it inside of here. And then you just shake it up, and what it's gonna create is this fun kind of shimmer mist that we can just kind of spritz our whole card. We'll give it a second to dry. So easy to make. So just order yourself an extra wink of Stella, put a little bit of about halfway of that rubbing alcohol. You can see it's already drying. And what that does to our card, hopefully it will pick up on screen here, but if not, it puts a beautiful shimmer sparkle over the entire card. And it's easy peasy to put together. Okay, and then of course we need some bling. So we've got our iridescent pearls. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put these kind of all over my card just to give it that, you know, wedding vibe, we'll call it. And remember, just you want to put them in an uneven, in an odd numbering, right? So right now we've got 4. So I think we'll just do one more, maybe up in this corner. Perfect. So there we have our beautiful wedding congratulations card using that Magnolia Mood stamp set die bundle, as well as our sentiment from our Sweetly Scripted. So I hope you loved today's card. I'll be back next week with another fun video. And remember, if you want the measurements for any of this or the step-by-step, you can subscribe at stampinqueenbee.com to get my weekly buzz bulletin, where I share all for free the step-by-step tutorial in a PDF you can print and just go to town, right? All kinds of fun there. So thanks so much for watching, liking, and subscribing, and I'll see you guys next week.